Important Places of the American Revolution by Stephanie Tregay, California History Standards 5.5.1, 2, and 3. This lesson will focus on the events that took place in Boston and Philadelphia prior to and during the American Revolution. Many of the events that took place in Boston were related to the increased tensions between Great Britain and the colonies. There were growing tensions between the colonies and the British because of the British increase of taxes on the colonies. Parliament imposed various taxes like the Sugar, Stamp, and Quartering Acts on the colonists. The Townshend Acts, passed in 1767, imposed duties on certain goods the colonies imported from Great Britain. The tensions that led to the Boston Massacre were the product of the occupation of Boston by redcoats in 1768, or the Quartering Acts. Redcoats were sent to Boston to ease riots as the result of the Townshend duties. With so many British soldiers occupying such a small town, friction was inevitable. The violent clash on March 5, 1770, known as the Boston Massacre, began when a British guard struck a colonist in the face with the butt of his musket. Great Britain's actions shocked the colonists. People in the colonies began to speak out about British tyranny and question the authority of Parliament in colonial affairs. Parliament ignored the colonists' cries of no taxation without representation and passed the Tea Act in May of 1773. Soon the colonists refused to buy tea and sometimes shipped it back to Britain. On the eve of December 16, 1773, a group of colonists disguised themselves as Native Americans and threw over 300 chests of tea into the Boston harbor. This event is now known as the Boston Tea Party. The colonists did not have to wait long for the British reaction to this Tea Party. British leaders felt it was time to bring the American colonists under control. In March 1774, Parliament passed a series of laws called the Coercive Acts. The colonists thought these acts were unbearable. They called them the Intolerable Acts. In 1774, delegates from 12 of the 13 colonies met in Philadelphia for the First Continental Congress. Sensing a permanent break with England, the First Continental Congress informed the local militias to prepare for war. The Congress urged people to arm themselves and ready their militia. They sent a letter to King George III asking him to stop punishing Boston and restore peace between the colonies and Britain. The King and the British refused. This led to the Second Continental Congress, which formed the Continental Army and placed George Washington as commander. A movement towards independence was steadily gaining ground. The delegates encouraged the colonial governments to draw up new constitutions so that if war came, the colonists would have government in place. Congress established the Continental Army in June of 1775 and issued the Declaration of Independence on July 4, 1776, in Philadelphia. This officially informed the world that colonists were no longer British subjects. The Declaration of Independence was drafted and completed, and it severed the ties with the colonies and Great Britain.